Buddy, welcome to this week's episode of Late Night Craft Talk. We see our opening banner. It is time to get the countdown timer going, and there we are. 10 minutes to showtime. Awesome stuff. So let's see what's going on. I'm going to look over here the chat, and I have mouse go over. Oh, getting the notifications. We're live. Cool stuff. All right. Let's go over, and I am going to start doing this. We are live tonight, folks. This is not a pre-recorded show. We're coming at you with you, and we have kind of an important show tonight. This is got a 1-year anniversary coming up. Tonight is a follow-up from our show on July 22nd of 2022. And let me bring in Svea's running a little bit late tonight. Been a little bit of a rush, and there's Svea, and let me get the correct screen going. All right, you there, Svea?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yay. It's been crazy, guys. I was looking for my computer all the
And Svea cut out a little bit. She's actually on her cell phone. She's telling me that she actually left her computer over at the store, and she's driving back to her house from the shop right now. And she's on her phone, and cell phone signals are a little different.
Oh,
and
I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah, I was on the Wi-Fi from the store. So I was just saying I was looking all over the house for my phone, my computer, couldn't find it. I'm like, shoot, I think I left it at the store. And even when I went to the store, I was looking around. I'm like, where's my computer? I'm like, I didn't leave it at Panera, did I? And it's like, there's no way. No, I didn't, because I did a live. There's no way. I did a live after my Panera meeting. So I'm like, okay, and I found it. Thank goodness. I'm driving home now.
It's going to be a little interesting for us tonight. I'm actually getting ready to share the show. We have, see how many viewers we got so far. Right now, we got a few viewers, folks. Let us know where you're at and where you're from and who's watching. And never sharing is caring.
Yes, we love doing this show for you guys. And, your friends, give the gift that keeps giving. Give your friends the opportunity to watch our fun show. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about, and it definitely can bring a lot of interest and thoughts and thinking, in your mind about stuff and stuff.
We got somebody watching, and this is cool. I've always wanted to paddle that place. We have a viewer that's coming in from Vancouver Island from Facebook user.
Wow, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yay.
Yeah, I know that we have a viewer from France every so often.
Yeah. I had someone that was watching our live video from England. Not ours, but one of my live videos from England. And I was like, that's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be just interesting for next week's guest. I'm going to give a little hint that they're way up in Canada. I think it's Saskatchewan.
Yeah. They're practically neighbors with Burl.
Pretty much. And Burl's about the one. Hey, guys, it's Candace.
Yay, Candace!
Howdy, Candace. Awesome. Welcome.
Candace. Does it say Candace's last name?
Just says Facebook user, and it says, hey, guys, it's Candace with a smiley eye.
Candace. Okay. I can't
Welcome,
see
Candace.
I can't see them.
Yeah.
Comments. I can see the comments. Oh, that's so cool.
George.
Oh, can't. Princess Leia is saying hi.
Okay.
Princess Leia is telling everyone hello, and she's so excited you're watching the show with us. Leia.
What is she really barking at?
Nothing. She's just literally so excited. She's like, I'm so excited.
It's a really loud bark. I'm turning down the volume on my desktop here.
Sorry. She can't control her volume. I can tell her, but she doesn't understand what that means.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think we have two different users here. One's Candace and the other is George. So welcome.
Okay.
We are waiting for the El Presidente of the Friday Ninja Monster Hunter Squad for Late Night Craft Talk. Where are you, Maya?
Well, is it Candace George? I think that's actually one of our one of the gals who join us on craft night. If that is,
She
that'd
said
be really cool.
she just commented, "Lol, it's Candace George." Okay, I get this.
Yay!
I'm
Yay!
slow.
I haven't seen you in a while, Candace. You have to join us for craft night sometime. We miss you. So, but yeah, it's this is going to be a good show, and next show is going to be even more awesome. We're going to announce what our next show is. If you guys don't follow our Facebook pages, this is why you would follow our Facebook pages. You would know already. I know the secret. I know the secret.
Do I know the secret?
I hope you
Know the
know the
secret.
secret.
Have a secret. No secret. All of a sudden, I want to listen to "That a Secret." Which song is that?
Madonna songs. My baby's got a secret.
No, not a secret. Oh, it's Mr. Roboto.
What? Oh, what? Domo
Mr. Roboto.
arigato,
Domo arigato,
Mr.
Mr.
Rigato,
Roboto.
Domo.
Domo.
I thought you. No, but there's a song by Madonna called Secret.
Googling that now.
Yeah, you don't know that?
I probably do.
My baby's got a secret.
I'm doing that Madonna Secret.
Yeah, sing
Okay.
the song. Sing the song, James.
I have to look up the lyrics and I have no idea how it goes.
Okay, interpret it yourself.
Madonna Secret official video. Here's the lyrics. Things
Yeah,
that
yeah.
haven't been the same since you came
Since
into
you
my life.
My life. You found a way to make me see that we're never, ever, ever gonna let you go.
Okay,
You
perfect.
knew all along that I never wanted to say until I learned to love myself. I was never, ever loving anybody else.
Okay. Madonna's actually performing Coachella Valley over at the new Azure Arena over in Thousand
Really?
Palms, Palm Desert, in October.
That's
She's
cool.
announced that some kind of change to her. She started her concert tour in Europe, but hasn't changed her that. And I'm at her concert over at Azure Arena, which is a first. I mean, it's like the place holds like 11,000 people. It's a big old hockey arena that's new.
Yeah.
And I know that like it only opened up like last January, and there's been a lot of concerts. Kiss is going to be performing there.
Wow, Kiss? Really? This is wow. That's Coachella.
Oh, I would go to see Kiss. Madonna.
You want to hear something funny?
Wow.
My friend Linda said Coachella is not the cool thing for people. It's old Cella now.
No. What she's thinking, it was actually a concert. It was nicknamed Old Cella, and that was back a few years ago when they had Paul McCartney perform, Bob Dylan, and a bunch of others. It was called Old Cella. They're doing a massive heavy metal fest in October, and I would be like all over that because I love a lot of the bands. Except I don't do concerts anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine you being able to do a concert for a long time because it's kind of loud a little bit.
Yeah. Are you almost home?
I'm actually about 2 miles from my house.
Okay, because we got a minute and a half till show.
Okay, well, we can start. I just have to, when I go in, I will run, and you can start with, our intro of what I usually say, and then you can talk about Elk Crack Traders, and then I should be able to get my computer on in that time.
And then I'll talk about my shoe size, and then
we can talk about the cats, and you can talk about why blue and white are not the same color.
I don't know. I'm not a man of science. Okay, we are coming back down. We are at 42 seconds. So, you have 30 seconds to make it back home.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it back in 30 seconds. I can maybe make it to like a half a block in 30 seconds because I'm at a red light.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. My mom was driving back when I was working on a little bit on the laptop. I had to go to Ottawa today, and it was she's a speed demon. She used to actually race cars.
Wow.
Okay, we got 8 seconds till countdown. You ready, Svea? Here we go, folks. Get ready to count down with us. And here we go. And 10.
9.
8.
7.
6,
5,
4,
3,
2,
1.
showtime. There we go. Open it up, folks.
Woohoo!
It's time for Late Night Craft Talk with hosts Svea Yang and James Hermes. Let's get the fun started. It's time to start the show.
Do, 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 do.
So we're on with me and the voice of Svea.
Yes. Well, do you want me to tell? I can do my intro. You just want to see me doing my intro.
But we want to see you. You're not. We
Okay.
miss you. We don't want Svea's voice. We want Svea with the
Okay,
voice.
James. Okay, so we're going to
What?
do out of order. James, what's happening with Elk Rack Traders today?
No,
Or this
we have
week?
to give the why. We have to give the why.
Okay, so you want me to do the why?
Do the
Okay,
why.
so basically, we do this week every show. We do the show every week, and we talk about all kinds of interesting topics. We would love for you to watch us. If you like our show, please feel free to like and subscribe to our Facebook pages, our YouTube channels, our Twitch channels, our Instagram, all of our social media. We have lots of interesting things to tell you and talk about. So again, you could do that all by following and liking and subscribing and sharing and all that kind of good stuff. And hey, James, what's going on with Elk Rack Traders?
Okay. Last weekend we were at the Whitewood Mountaineer Days. It's not one of our mainline shows, but we don't put. Oh, Maya's here. Okay. How was everyone's week? Hello, Late Night Craft Talk fam. I'm going to highlight that right quick. Oh, I also have to get the banner up. I have to get the brand. Let me get that real fast, folks. And there we go. Okay. And I have to switch sides and move you over and get you dizzy while you're driving, Svea.
Wait, what?
I had to move over where it says Dancing Bear on one side of the screen. And you're driving right now, so I don't want you to get dizzy as I moved you around the monitor.
I'm actually walking right now, but the thing is, you would probably get dizzy because as soon as I log on, it's going to switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Anyway, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do it since Maya's late. Maya. Yes, Maya signed on, the El Presidente. We have to do this. Maya, you get the look. Why do you do this to us almost every week? And Princess Leia is even complaining about this.
Leia is so mad at you right now.
I know, Maya.
She's telling you right now how mad she's at you.
Okay. That was the look. Let me go back, and obviously Svea's actually just signed off. And so she'll be signing on in just a moment. We'll get to see Svea's face with the voice. Anyway, for Elk Rack last weekend.
She is
here
totally
she is.
mad.
Here she is.
So mad.
You signed off for a minute.
Oh, because I have a spider that's like right outside our window, our door.
There's a spider outside your door?
Right now. It's kind of crazy.
Is it a big spider?
Yeah. It's pretty big.
Is it like the one from Lord of the Rings that wrapped up Frodo?
No, but it's way cool.
Is it a radioactive spider that will give you Spider-Man powers?
No.
Then how cool is it if it's not a radioactive spider?
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, I got to run in, so I'm going to sign off, and then you can tell everyone about your week.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. I was going to do that. All right. So we'll have Svea here in just the next couple minutes. All right. To get back, excuse me, we were last weekend at the Whitewood Mountaineer Days. It's not one of our mainline shows, but we put our number one effort into everything. And it's one of our smaller shows. And it's also up in the mountains at like 6,000 feet. And I'm from the desert. And it was awesome. But got to visit some friends that we see up there routinely. But stayed the night at another friend's house over in Adelanto. And it's just a nice visit. But great seeing you. I know that we have some viewers in Whitewood that watch the show typically after our Friday night premiere. And great seeing you. Love talking with you. Just a great fun weekend. Sales, yeah, they weren't the greatest. It was good, not the typical, but that doesn't matter. I love seeing the people and go over. I mean, one of my favorite things about business is just the customers, and that's really mean that. Just fun conversations to the point sometimes that I need to like step away and go, I want to talk to you, but I got to work here. So those of you who came out to see us, thank you. Love it. Great thing. And now we're getting ready for Svea. She should be coming on any time now. So if we got any viewers, we jumped up in viewers. Okay. So while she's getting to come on, I want to kind of review. This week was an unofficial holiday. Call it a retail holiday for those of you that have Amazon, specifically Amazon Prime. And everybody celebrates Prime Day, but we lose focus of this. And I want to address this. This is something that the commercialization of Prime Day has lost focus of what we really look for. And this is the true meaning of Prime Day, is that, remember, Optimus Prime died in the 1989 movie of Transformers, the movie. And Prime Day has become too commercialized, and everyone has forgotten the true meaning of the holiday of our great respected figure and great leader, Optimus Prime. Folks, please remember Optimus on Prime Day as you order from Amazon Prime. I hope you're laughing as much as I thought you might, because it just didn't quite roll off the tongue like I was hoping to on this one. All right. It looks like we got Svea coming on. We're waiting for Svea to be coming on. All right. As we get ready to do this, she's got some announcements for Dancing Bear to give an intro for tonight's show, our focus. Thank you, Maya, for laughing. We love Optimus Prime. No matter how much the dude who directs those movies, Michael Bay, has really jacked it up. I still love Optimus Prime. Okay. Anyway, so tonight is actually part 2 of a show called Know Your Health Emergencies from July 22nd, 2022. We're following up on this. This is the 1-year anniversary that Svea and I both had at reasonably the same time some severe health scares. And we're going to share the progress of how that has gone over the last year. And we're going to give some very important information for you to know. Basically, we're going to be talking about a recovery over the year. And as a lot of you aware that Svea had a health scare that she was diabetic. She's not. And I had an ischemic stroke. And we've talked about it. We're going to be sharing some clips from other shows and other videos tonight to talk about the progress over 1 year since it's happened. And we're going to be talking toward the end of the show about what a stroke is, signs to look for it, an acronym called Be Fast to recognize into somebody, and some of the deficits that happen in life with stroke victims. We're going to cover that. We're going to cover a lot of area tonight, and it's a lot of important information. It's one you can learn how to prevent or minimize the risk of stroke, warning signs to look for, how to treat other people that may have it, as well as life with the stroke. We're going to be doing that. Thank you, Maya. So, kind of important. This is one of our public service episodes, and still wait for Svea to come on because we got to finish that piece of business. But this is something we've been planning for a while for this 1-year anniversary, and the 1-year anniversary of the stroke is this Tuesday, July 18th, and we wanted to, do this. It's one of the things that's pretty personal to us. So wait for Svea, because I had a whole host of things to do with her, and I'm killing time on this one. All right. Geez. Okay. Getting ready for it. Let's just say, while Svea's not on yet, for viewers watching, we got a good number of you. Because remember, we're streaming to YouTube, Facebook, like 4 places, 2 places on YouTube, 4 places on Facebook, and Twitch. When Svea comes on, start commenting and ask Svea, why don't your shoes match? Why do your shoes never match on the show? And then do that one. We're going to collude here because we can do this whenever she's not on. And she's about to come on. I'm going to do this. Hopefully she's not watching on her phone. So let's say why your shoes don't match. And let me think of something random here. Why are her lips have a green tinge? Because Svea and I just love each other in this one. If I walk off the show, she's going to do the same thing. All right. So we have that plan, folks. Good. It's a deal. Got to do it. Okay. Waiting on Svea. Come on. All right. Let me fill a bit more time. Things I know that share. Yes. Thank you, Maya. Share. Folks, remember, important topic tonight. Do as the El Presidente has said. Share. All right. With that, some topics I know that's coming with Dancing Bear is that Svea has been working hard on their bead shop hop this September. She was doing a lot of work on it today, and this is not the first time I've had to make announcements for Dancing Bear. She's been doing that. When she comes up, she'll be talking about the bead retreat, the virtual bead retreat in October, as well as, oh, she's here. Okay, let me sign her in. Hello, Svea.
Hello, James.
And well, the audience and I have been having a nice chat. We haven't colluded about anything, nothing. We're all innocent. Folks, start making comments now.
I know he was doing some kind of
Nope.
thing.
Nope.
Yeah, I bet you.
I promise I didn't.
I don't believe that for anything. You could cross your fingers, might as well double cross them. Go like across and then go
I'm really hoping. I'm really hoping.
Like
I have a lot of hope
this.
for tonight's show to be great. It's all luck. This is not because I'm being okay. What's going on with Dancing Bear?
No. So we had some pretty cool things happen. For those of you who do follow our live,
I agree. It's kind of weird. Is there something wrong with your camera? Thank you, Facebook user.
There's definitely something wrong with your camera.
No, they're asking about you.
Okay, I can just leave. I don't have to be here, James. You can do the show by yourself.
No, this is not fair to our viewers.
Okay, well, be nice and don't do this BS. Okay, so
I promised I'm behaving.
No, you didn't. I know you didn't. You never do. I'm telling you. I know.
You never do to me either.
You're like, it's a big, it's spell on your forehead, big liar.
No.
Yes.
I erased that. I took makeup for that part.
Okay, you took makeup to cover that your forehead naturally burns in LAIR. So
yes.
Okay.
Maybe not. Okay. What's going on with Dancing?
For those of you who watch our lives, we actually did a special. We do a live every Thursday at 3 p.m. And during our lives, we actually have like a special promo or a special deal or an extra special discount. And I decided to promo our Dentillium shells that we got in. We got in really great using a great, nice quality Dentillium shell that we couldn't even get in before until now. So we were really excited about it. That was a big deal. We had that on our, we already have that on our website. So if you do want to buy it, we have premium, beautiful Dentillium shells. They're like 1.75. They're about on average 1.75 inches long, which is really nice. And they're 50-gram bags for $25. It's pretty good. The other thing is we have our Facebook, our bead retreat is live. And so anyone can sign up from far away, even the far away people, anyone who's in Canada, anyone who's really far away. If you want to sign up, you can sign up for a bead retreat, and we're going to do Zoom links. We're going to send out all the product to our classes, our class people that are not attending in person. We'll send all that stuff out before the bead retreat happens. So you can sign up for a virtual class as well as in person. It's going to be in a hotel this year, so we'll actually have internet. So it makes it possible to do the virtual bead retreat. Additionally, today I posted the bead shop hop brochure, and I posted the brochure. The registration is live. And you can go to any of the stores and get information on it. We are going to, it's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. we are working like crazy on all that stuff, and we're getting ready for the shop hop, and we're going to have a special event in August. I'm trying to put it together right now where we're going to have like a huge sale of a whole bunch of stuff. It's just huge sale at our store in August. So we're going to be having mega deals. So you definitely want to come by our store, and that's only going to be in our store. It's not going to be on the website.
Turn on the overhead lights.
Okay, turning 2 lights on.
I was turning on the studio lights, so I had to mute my microphone.
Okay.
I love the Didn't Tell You show you've been pulling up. When we get off the show, I'm going to be ordering some. Okay.
Yes.
Because they're really cool. I love them on projects. All right. Did you see that? Were you able to watch it all? What I advertised about how the tragedy of the retail takeover of Prime Day this week?
Wait, what?
Let me share it. As soon as I find them thingy. This.
Oh my gosh.
We need to do an episode just on the history of Optimus Prime.
I was thinking that you were saying that people, and I was like, what? Did that really happen? That people got wise, and instead of spending money at Amazon on Amazon Prime Day, spend money with your local stores. Spend money with your local stores. Keep the money inside your city, because honestly, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but the thing is, if everyone starts shopping with Amazon only, guess what? That means you will only be shopping with Amazon only. That's just all I have to say.
Shouldn't have bought the 5 terabyte hard drive.
Get buy from Best Buy.
Another big box. It was a really good price.
The difference is that if you buy it from Best Buy versus buying it from Amazon is totally a different thing anyway.
Understood. Definitely.
So anyway, I mean, just try to shop local. Don't just shop on Amazon, because seriously, what's going to happen? Did you guys see Ready Player One? Everyone is literally never going to leave their house, and they're only going to live in these containers, and they're just going to order, and they're never going to go outside their house ever again.
We're getting kind of there already. Seriously, on that one. With that. Yep. So that's what we have this week. Time for show subject?
Yes, let's go for it.
I gave a bit of an introduction what we're doing and kind of an overlay of the show, what we're sharing our experiences. So moving on to the show subject. And folks, it's going to be serious, but we've packed with fun, and go with us. We're covering some serious subjects that have its highs and lows, but stick with us to the end, because we've got a whammo banger at the end to bring everything back up to a fun level tonight. Yes. Okay. With that,
okay, really quick. Sorry, yep. James. Maya has a very important.
Well, Presidente speaking. We must put it out there.
She says, "I miss mom and pop stores that used to be plentiful back in the days. This is a true thing." So seriously, people, do support your small local businesses. It's so important, because if you don't, then all of the small stores will disappear. They will disappear, and you will not have options. So that is something that, sorry to get on my soapbox again, but it's like, just remember, you really need to support the stores. I mean, your local stores. The thing is that maybe it costs more, but you know what you're paying for? You're paying for that extra service that you don't get from the other things.
The expertise.
Yes, exactly.
The personal service.
I tell people that come into my store, they're like, I can buy that tool at Michael's with a 40% coupon. I said, you can buy it at Michael's with a 40% coupon, but those people are not going to show you how to use it. They're not going to take care of you, give you examples, show you all the stuff you need to do with it. They're not going to do that. And then on top of that, some of the products that we sell, some of the tools we sell that can be purchased with a 40% coupon, if you purchase them through our store, you're paying a higher price, but guess what? You have a lifetime warranty. So, hey, look at lifetime warranty, buy it again. So anyway.
You kind of touched on things. I had a guy last night at the art market in Palm Springs that was looking at a necklace we had. And he goes, I can get a necklace kind of like that over at place, another kind of a chain place over in Palm Springs. And he goes, I went, okay, what are you paying over there? You're paying shareholders. Over here, you're paying for the artist to come over, do it, and stand by the product. If it breaks over there, you just got to buy another one. You go over to me. As long as, you know, it is, I can tell it's not been purposely mishandled and abused. I stand by my stuff. And so you want to pay shareholders or you want to pay for an artist?
Yep.
To continue their craft. And that's a huge thing.
Yes.
Anyway, there's our soapbox.
Sorry. Soapbox, off the soapbox. Okay, James.
Off the soapbox. So, as I explained earlier in the show, today is part 2 of Know Your Health, Health Emergencies, directly from our episode on July 22nd, 2022. And this is how we got past our introductions and businesses. This is how the show opened. And this is what we said.
Those of you who don't know what an A1C test is, it's a cumulative blood sugar test over 3 months. And it was high. So it was at 7.5, which is considered diabetic. When I went in, my doctor called me the next day and she's like, your insulin, your A1C is at 7.5. You're diabetic. I want you to start taking metformin. I want you to start blood glucose testing every day. And I was like, this can't be.
Now out jogging, I'm a couple miles from my house, and I felt the left side of my body not go numb, but weak. I instantly recognized what it is, and I went into the emergency room at Eisenhower Medical Center, Rancho Mirage, and I walked in there, and I told the person at the desk, I need help right now. I am very sure I'm having a stroke. And that's the news we came up with. And what we're doing now is how we're doing and the journey we had a year later. And we're just under a year. And our regular viewers that watch this have seen the progression. You've seen where problems happen over this. We're going to be talking about Svea and I's journey. I don't like the fact that I'm going to be taking a lion's share of the story tonight. I want to revisit an episode and talk about diabetes. Let's just emphasize Svea is not diabetic. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to do another follow-up show on this one if you're cool with that, Svea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it'll be another one of our Know Your Health episodes. So that was a scary night. And a lot of our viewers went, wow.
Yeah. So James, I started my weight loss journey in March of last year. Mm-hmm. And about a year ago, James had a stroke. So there was a little bit of an overlap of, like my life change started earlier in the year and James had a life change mid-year. So there was just a little bit but it was interesting. We both had like a major life change, life scare right around the same time, which is kind of crazy, really. Like if you think about it, what I went through and what you went through, we're both kind of going through a major thing at the same time.
Yeah, different categories, but still major change of lifestyle, which our regular audience has seen and we've talked about, but we're summarizing. We're going to be sharing actually some new information from our experiences that weren't really public because we've always been promised to be, to be open to our audience on this one. Mm-hmm. You've done what you can to correct that. You are not diabetic. You've made the necessary life changes that you had to do to maintain the quality of your health.
Yep. I've lost 70 pounds and that's a major amount. And I just started, I'm now under 200 and I'm just hoping that continues because for a long time I was kind of like fluttering right at 200. Mm-hmm. I am under 200. I still have a bit of a little bit more to go. But the thing is, it's been major. Since I started this weight loss journey, I actually have had my blood pressure issues gone away. My cholesterol, my triglycerides all went down. Everything of my health, my A1C is 100% in a normal range for over 8 months. Like it's at like 5.3. And that's in a totally normal range. My doctor, I believe that it was partially elevated from medication.
Yeah.
So maybe that I was enough of a scare to push myself to take care of what I was going into and, go take a step backward. So, I mean, I just am very aware of where I could be, and I don't want to be there. So that's why I've really been pushing myself to really get to my goal of what my weight loss is. So,
Yeah. My turn.
mhm.
Yeah. So a lot of you, we told the story that I was out jogging. It was a very, very humid day. And I'll preface this and I'll expand what this means earlier. But on July 16th, it was a Saturday morning, and I'd done some exercise, and I walked across my house. All of a sudden, I just felt weak on this side of the body, on my left side. And I went, what the heck is that? And it came back, but I was just very tired after that. And I'm like, this ain't right. And I just slept a big chunk of the rest of the day. But strength returned. I thought, could be a stroke. And as it turned out, it was what's called a transient ischemic attack. It's a mini stroke. It's a precursor to the main event. I should have gone to ER that night. I checked my blood pressure. It was quite high. It was about 179. It's not quite stroke territory, but it means you're on there. The stage is set. And I didn't go to ER that night. I went, you know what? Maybe it's just something's driving it. I'll rest. I'll get a good night's sleep. Rest more Sunday. I should be fine. But I intended that first thing Monday morning, I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to urgent care. I'm going to go see a doctor about this right then. As soon as they open up, typically about 8 a.m, where I live locally with the insurance company. And so that was the decision. I should have gone to freaking ER that night. Something was driving the blood pressure. As we found out later on, it was actually a broken tooth that was infected, that I didn't feel it, and that was spiking the blood pressure. It was not lifestyle related, but it was spiking that. And so that was the case. We found that out later, but it was such a dynamic couple of weeks after the stroke. But Monday morning, I'm out jogging. It's about 6:15 in the morning. It's a super humid day. And all of a sudden, this side went weak. The left arm, mostly the left arm and the left leg. There was minor where I didn't have feeling in the left face. It was very minor, but I was doing the duck waddle, the gimp, the limp that stroke victims do. And I called a family member to come get me because the ambulance I already knew was not available because of the 2-alarm call I saw. And they came over, got me, and they rushed me over to Eisenhower Medical Center. I walked into the ER and I said, I need help. I'm having a stroke. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And so they checked my blood pressure. My blood pressure was 236 over 148. That's stroke territory. And rushed into the hospital. And they gave me what's called TPA. I was in the hospital from the first I was in the hospital at 7:30 in the morning. So from onset to there was 40 minutes by the time my family member come over, picked me up and hauled me over there because they want to take a shower. And I said, oh, no, we're going now. It was very fortunate that within the first hour of the onset of the stroke, minimized its effects. There's still effects. And was in the ICU about 2 days after being in the ER for a few hours. They gave me what's called transient. It's called TPA. Transient is something fluid, but anyway, TPA is a super clot buster. And what happened was in the right thalamic region of my brain, it's a vein in that goes there. I don't remember the name of it right there, but a blood clot formed, and the vein also constricted from that, and that's what blocked it. And that is the part of the brain that relays information to different parts of the brain. And that's where a lot of my problems are coming from as viewers watch it. I called Svea later that morning when I was back in the ICU. And by the way, the clot buster is amazing. It cost $35,000, but it got rid of there. I was super thin. If I bumped into something, I would have had a bruise. My blood was so thin from this. And when things chilled, I called Svea, and she'll tell you that story right there. That alone is worth retelling.
So what happened was I was literally, we had just moved into our home and we were trying to get the flooring in so we could move into the house. And I was sitting on the floor in my mom's closet putting the pieces of wood in, and James called me. He's like, I had a stroke. I'm like, what? And I was like, you're joking. Seriously, you know. It was crazy. Like it was a eye opener. But James is like he's not really someone who I would consider would be in stroke, you know, in the stroke world or like in the realm of being in stroke territory. So he was really surprised. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it scared a lot of people. What followed was there was physical deficits that were minimized. I had promised myself I had a Green River trip up in Utah, 2-week Green River trip in September. And the trip was ending on September 18th, was our last full day. This is July 18th. And I said, talking to the doctors and whatnot, I could walk out, but I had a limp. I was kind of doing this. And talking to the doctors said, you know, your best recovery is in the first 3 months. You're able to at least walk. There was no facial droop. And I made a promise. I said, you know what? And I had a kayak training trip 2 weeks later we had to kill. But I said, 2 weeks from today, I should be hiking the Dollhouse hike, which is one of the most difficult one-day hikes in the country in Canyonlands National Park. It's a super isolated area. I mean, we're talking like the nearest paved road is 30 miles away in one direction and 45 miles an hour, 45 miles away the other direction. It is way out there. And to do that hike, I said, I'm going to work my butt off to do that hike. And what proceeded over the next 5 weeks before leaving for Utah, 5 or 6 weeks, was an intense therapy, physical. And there were highs and lows. There was no way to predict what was going to be happening over the next few months. A lot was physical. There was times we actually had to cancel a show because at the time the medications I'm on was between statins, and we're not going to get into medications and stuff like that, but the statins, one of the amongst the side effects unknowing to me, and that I didn't know I had a family history that there was a intolerance to statins, which breaks down cholesterol. My cholesterol was great, fine. I mean, I had boring labs, except had a stroke. And so amongst doing that was confusion, altered level of consciousness. And I was actually and this is probably about 2 weeks after the stroke, I'm on the statins and I am in a Stater Brothers and went in and I forgot what I went in for. I just wanted to go get some romaine lettuce and I wandered through and I was completely like, why am I here? And it occurred on a base level. I don't know why I'm here. I'm lost. And I had to remember how to get out to the car. I just went on a base, just instinct level, went out to the car, sat down for several minutes, drove home, went to sleep. And this is a Friday afternoon. I called Svea and said, Svea, I'm scared. That scared the snot out of me. I've never had it where I just blank. And at one point, there was a clerk that saw me kind of wandering on the produce aisle going, this guy's like crazy or something. He's just blank and just wandering around back and forth, wandering back and forth. And I had to convince him not to call the cops to put me in and have me committed on that one. I said, fine, I'm just going to leave the store. And it was embarrassing. And we had to call you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's times like that happen. And some of it's stroke related because the brain has had a deep injury and it's trying to recover. And we had times during the show that I just needed a break. Christy came in and helped us for a couple of weeks to co-host. Thank you, Christy. Huge. She's been an amazing support. And the physical part was, let me share the photo here. I worked physically hard. I required trekking poles for balance and some walking. I was off the trekking poles by the time we were left for Utah. And that was amazing. And I'm going to get the picture up. But at one point, at the 2-month mark, 2 days after 2 months to the day after the stroke, I was in Canyonlands. I can put this in the PowerPoint. Let me share it real quick. And It was an amazing moment. I will put as one of the top of my life. And I'm going to bend your mind a little bit after this. So 2 months to the day after training like crazy, this happened. That's me wearing this shirt that says stroke victim with the little unicorn right there. Wearing that shirt at Canyonlands at the Dollhouse, on the Dollhouse hike. And that's a Colorado River underneath. And it was an amazing moment to watch sunrise from there to the moment 2 months afterward. And a great experience, but at the same time, and I want to bend your mind, I shouldn't have done it.
And I just want to add that when James was bent on doing that, I told him I didn't think it was a good idea for him to do it either. But James wanted to go. And I said, I totally get it. I know you want to go. You know, I was very worried about him going the whole time because I'm just thinking, I just had a major thing happen.
Yeah. The thing is that doing that, focusing that much energy and that much focus to set a goal so short term was very ambitious. Folks, remember, I couldn't work because my left hand, it just didn't have it. But intensifying that advanced my recovery from the stroke by 4 months. At that point, I was where I should have been at 4 to 5 months after the stroke, and this is only 2 months, and it paid dividends. It was amazing. But what we didn't account for that did not start manifesting itself was the neurological deficits. And we're going to play a video, and this was actually about 2 weeks before I left for Utah. There's a thing that we come on, and this has been the ongoing challenges, the neurological deficits. This is not pretty to watch. I did this live on Facebook because we are very open. There's a condition I continue to suffer from called aphasia. It's a difficulty talking. It's happened on the show. And this is toward the end of August. Let me bring it up. And like I said, this isn't pretty to watch, but this is normal for stroke patients. This affects it. And I'm looking at stuff I got to do, and I let it affect me, and this is what's going on. So that's the stuttering. Going blank. If I'm in a chill place, I'm awesome. But like I said, there's a lot going on, Gary, for this rodeo this weekend, and I knew this would happen. This is the stuttering and everything, folks. I'm not embarrassed to put this on live video because I want everybody to know what this is like. It sucks. There was actually got worse, but that's the one where I could put it in there in 1 minute clip to get that soundbite in there. But that's the aphasia that still occasionally happens. And what happened on the Green River was that this has started to manifest itself, that and the ongoing sensory overload. And that was the main battle. It really started kicking in at the end of the trip. I had, luckily, guessing, and I had a silent messenger, and I'm messaging a friend who works with stroke victims, messaging them from a satellite messenger, what the hell's happening? And people are like, what's up with James? And they're like, must be some stroke thing. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. And having that happen, I have enough self-awareness training, and we had a couple other medical people. We had an ICU nurse on the trip. We had a paramedic on the trip that just, they only know so much. And they're able to isolate it and say chill, and I could bounce off them a little bit. But there was things that luckily we had just enough to cover, and I have enough self-awareness medical training to figure it out. But that was a stupid place to figure it out. And I'm glad I did it, but I shouldn't have done it. And those things started coming over, and I could have been in a place back home where I could figure it out and do better control in case things did go south on this. And what came over yesterday, start quick. I know the choir on this one, but the continued in October. The worst of it was October through early December was the worst of the sensory overload. It's when it really began to develop and had to understand what the hell was going on. And we actually had one show in particular. Dave Chansky was on our, I said his name right.
Dave will be happy. Dave will be very happy.
Dave came on to talk about his film festival, and he didn't know that I had that going on. And he's like, what's going on? And luckily, Dave is absolutely amazing. Understand that something was wrong. We told him afterward. He goes, "Oh, okay." But Dave handled it with class. He didn't know what's going on with me, but he handled it with class, grace, and Svea is an absolute godsend, wonderful. We actually have worked out yes, we've actually, in the show, we've worked out a routine that we use to this day, that if I have a problem, I give a keyword or I message her and she takes over. And you'll see that here. This is not one of the prettier moments on that show from October 2022. Let me get it here, and here it is.
The good director is going to set the mood and make it easier for you.
Totally. On
That's
that
cool.
one. That's cool stuff.
Very good.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, you served in all these positions. 10 on say Fall Creek or
Black Pumpkin.
sorry, I have a little memory problem lately.
Black Pumpkin.
Black
Yes,
Pumpkin. Thank you.
I've been before. I was the producer. I've always had a part.
That was one of the worst ones. There's a lot of subtle things in there, so they knew to watch it right there. But Dave's kind of like, "What's up?" And you can see where the words are breaking up from the aphasia. And that was an embarrassing episode on this one. That was about the worst we've had. I still mess up words, but at that time, I was visiting a local Boy Scout troop to purposely put myself in there to get the brain working, because I have to go and expose myself to crowds to get the brain to repair itself. And the first 3 months after stroke are the most critical to getting the most recovery out. The first 6 months is very critical. The first 3 months are that much more critical if you're going to get any kind of quick recovery, because over time it slows down. And there was a lot of self-occupational therapy, speech therapy that we did. We covered it. And to show what the sensory overload that really began to understand what happened is in late October, early November, I actually went out and bought, it's sitting in a box around here, but I bought a MetaQuest 2 VR to start subjecting myself to to stimulus. And I actually have about a 30-minute video on my Facebook page that shows me wearing the Oculus and then documenting what I was feeling with the sensory overload. And this is a very brief clip of what we did let's see here. Okay, what it was like, what I did. Okay, my head is spinning right now. A lot of people share this information. The inside of my head is going like this right now, right like this. And it's kind of like that, but nothing else is. I don't visually see things spinning. I feel the inside of my head going like this, and really right now during the light show. I just forgot my name. Okay, I am seriously blanking on what I'm doing right now. I know I gotta keep talking. Like, right now I'm like in a core mode right now that I know I'm blanking, I'm getting the aphasia going. Okay, it's really kicking in now. I'm now 25 minutes post after the video, and results continue unfolding. I put in a set of headphones to take down the sound. That helped slow things down a bit. I feel okay sitting down, but I am definitely more nauseous. If I get up and walk around, I get nauseous. I need to sit down for a while, but I've taken a couple very light snacks. I wouldn't be surprised if I probably vomit in the next half hour. And that's what was going on. I had what was called the 15-minute wall. I go into a place more than 15 minutes, I'm going to throw up, and the dizziness that's the best way to describe it. I actually forgot some of this stuff till I started looking and editing these videos over the last few days to get ready for tonight. And so it was bad. I actually walked into a dinner. I couldn't do an inside show. I just skipped a chink of powwow. I had to back out. I had to back out of the Birds and Geek Festival the Alba Atlantic Cultural Museum puts on, because I cannot be an outside crowd or inside crowd. I still have a problem with it. It is not near what it was 6-7 months ago. And at the 6-month mark, I would be invited to a couple of dinners. I would go in and went, nope, go outside, and an awards dinner, and I would sit outside, and I would go in, do my presentation, and go back outside. And that happened 3 times. And people are like, what's up with him? Some, there was a lot of things, and I don't know anybody an explanation on anything, but the organizers were very fantastic about it. They asked people to hold their applause when I come in and not to applause when I introduce an award winner. And the award winner was amazingly gracious about that they didn't get the applause. They know that they wanted me to be that, and that was wonderful. But when you're it's great that you feel that kind of thing for somebody and you want to do them a favor. It was amazing, but I'm not used to that. I'm not used to being the person that has to be helped like that. And there were moments of graciousness from individuals during that time. Shout out to Donna Burke. Voting one day, talking to her. I had to wear migraine glasses, and I'm talking to her during the elections last year. And she came in, and I was talking, and then she blocked off an area where I could vote and not be overwhelmed by people around, because it was during the thick of it in November, and then leave. And I didn't realize what she did until I left. I was like, oh, she did that. The little moments like that from people for support are amazing. Amongst the greatest support for recovery has been our audience. It has been, you folks have been absolutely amazing. And the news from it, as we go along, the recovery with the sensory overload is the single biggest issue, is ongoing. Hiking the dollhouse, doing that 2 months of incredibly intensive physical therapy to do that was amazing. That wasn't the biggest challenge I had. It was the EMT class. And the EMT class went, oh yeah, we know. It was a soap opera. It went from mid-March through the end of May. It's been a month and a half since the EMT class went. And we've talked about on the show is that during that time, I still couldn't go into a room full of people. During the EMT class, I actually had to switch schools over to Crafton Hills College to go their program from an individual. And I'm going to show it right here. This is actually a picture from this morning. I was up in Idlewild shooting pictures. This dude named Kyle Gonering, who taught the EMT class for Crafton. I've not actually known Kyle a while. And Kyle made it possible to do this, to take the class. They isolated me during group exercises, during medical scenarios, where I could work away from a group. He taught the class. He let me wear the earplugs or sit out in the hallway because I couldn't be in a room full of students. And he took the time after class to explain things, because I'm having to wear earplugs during the lecture, so I'm not catching everything. And folks, this class would go from 9 in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening, twice a week in San Bernardino. And I had a hell of a time. I would have to take long breaks and miss the lecture. He'd come back and help with that one. Not a lot of EMS programs will accommodate somebody like that cannot, they presume, work in an ambulance. Kyle knows, and he did it. He talked to the medical director, his assistant director named Glenn Thronson, were amazing. And I couldn't have done it unless they came to accommodate, I hate to use accommodate, but work around what I had going on. And it was a pain. I mean, one of the things that happen with the changes with stroke victims that have the neurological deficits is the dynamics change incredibly. Originally it would change every week for me, and it would change every few weeks. And did you just message me? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I see that. We know we go long.
Yeah.
Try to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely want to do this. We're getting toward the end anyways.
Yeah.
So at the, accommodating, having to learn how to study would change. And this is reflective of so many other stroke victims. The things to remember, we haven't shared yet, and I'm going to just make this brief, and you can look at this as others, is amongst the struggles are things like the sensory overload. It is so much better than it was even a month and a half ago. It's really improved in June and lately. But that was probably the biggest achievement for the stroke recovery, was completing that EMT class. And
I agree.
Yeah, and it was. And it's still ongoing, but this is something that takes a couple of years to get over, and there's still always going to be a price to pay. But I owe a lot to Kyle. It was amazing, and I'll finish off at the end of the show with the highlight to give the end story on that one. But amongst the things that have been struggles that we have not been open about is the depression. It hits about every 2 months. It used to hit about every 3 weeks. It would last a day and a half. It went to every 2 months, and I haven't had a significant episode since early May. And that was brief others, but I would have about 2 or 3 days where I just couldn't get it. And the thing is, the depression is part of post-stroke syndrome, and it would feel like it's being imposed on me, and it's neurological, and it's very common for stroke victims, and it is a beast. But amongst that, there were also visual and audio hallucinations that would happen. That hasn't happened since January. They're always minor, but others have it because their brain is just trying to figure out how to work again. Those are the things we haven't shared. It would just be dark shapes in a dark room or something. I'd see something out the corner of my eye going, what the hell is that? But I knew what was happening because I knew what was to come. But those amongst the challenges. But the biggest one is probably the biggest one that affected so many ways was the depression. And it's just amazing. But to date, a year later, no physical deficits. The blood pressure is under control. Obviously, that's the only remaining medication that has to be taken. Don't have to do the stabs. There was not a family history of it. There's no blood thinners. The blood pressure is under control. It was a bit high. I'll admit. I smoked. I still do. I'm cut down incredibly. It is a beast to quit. That was contributing. And the blood pressure is down. It is no longer hypertensive. The doctor says I'll probably be off the blood pressure medication and want me to finish a regimen. I'll probably be off by the fall. And we're going to touch on lifestyle changes. We're going to go long, Svea. That cool?
Well, I mean, you got to think of the highlights, James.
Got to think of the highlights.
You got to think of them.
We're going to do a part 2 to this. We're going to bring up the stroke awareness because we do want to share that. We're going to go a little over tonight. There's a lot of information. We know we would be hard to squeeze it in here because there's a lot of information to share, and I've already condensed the hell out of the story. But we want to cover 2 topics tonight. The self-care, the change in lifestyle we've both done, and patient advocacy that we both think is very primary to share with this. But as it is now, the sensory overload is still there. I am an ADD student in college, and we're going to touch now on the lifestyle changes and the patient advocacy we've had to do. We think it's really important to share. You want me to roll into it?
Okay, so what we were talking about for self-advocacy as a patient, one of the things that had happened to me recently was that there were 3 instances where I was with the doctor, and the first instance I was given a medication that I actually possibly was allergic to, considering my history of allergies. And so what I wanted to say to you, when you go to the doctor, don't trust that the doctor knows what you're allergic to. It sounds completely terrible, but I have been prescribed medications that if I just read the ingredients, I would know immediately I'm allergic to those things. And my doctor did prescribe me, and that did cause problems for me in the past even. So this last time, this was no different. It was the same situation where I would potentially be allergic to it. For those of you who don't know, I'm allergic to sulfates. I was prescribed a medication that was a medication -sulfate, and I didn't know that. And I was just told the first name of the medication. And at first I was like, that seems a little severe for that medication, but they're like, no, you're fine. You'll be okay. And so they gave me the medication, and the next day I broke out in hives on my face. And I went to urgent care, and they're like, oh, that's because you're allergic to it. That is an allergic reaction. And I was so mad because they said people call it this, but it's actually this sulfate. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how come I didn't ask them, or actually ask to see the ingredients or see the name of the medication? So I do really recommend everyone, when you're going to be given or administered any kind of medication, do ask for the full name of the medication, and even potentially ask for the ingredients, because let me tell you, they can give you something you're allergic to and not realize it, and you'll suffer later. I suffered for an additional 4 days with an allergic reaction for something that they should have known they shouldn't have given me. And if they would have told me the full name, I would have said, I don't want it. Then this was like a week and a half later, I went into the doctor and they had this little container and they were going to put it on me. And I was like, what is that? They're like, oh, it's surgical stainless steel. I'm like, no. And they're like, why? I said, well, I'm allergic to nickel. When stainless steel gets hot, it leaches nickel. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah. And I'm allergic to that. And they're like, okay, and the thing is, this is me telling the doctor, and I'm not a doctor. So this is one of the things that it's like, it's so important whenever you go in, you ask every question, right? And then the tech, that same appointment, after I talked to her about all of my allergies and how I'm allergic to this. I mean, she knows I have allergies to a lot of things. She says, I'm gonna put this Stereotape down. So okay, Stereotape. It's like a band. It's like a tape with like little strings in it, right? Okay. And she said, I'm gonna put Neosporin down. And I'm like, hold up. And she's like, what? I said, that's on my chart. I am allergic to that. That is on my chart. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, that item is on my chart. And so she actually was going to administer a medication that I'm actually allergic to on my chart. And so that's what I was saying. You have to make sure that you find out from your doctors exactly what they're putting on you or exactly what they're using, whatnot, because it's happened 2 times in one appointment. And it happened another time after even the other first time. I had a full conversation with them about how I was allergic to all these different things, and they didn't even realize it. So it's just very important to always ask, especially if you have allergies, ask for all of the ingredients of everything that you are going to be administered. So anyway, James.
That is the patient advocacy. There's a fine line on that one because with the insurance company, you might see a PA, then you might see a doctor, then you might see a PA. You're lucky to see with a lot of insurance plans, you're lucky to see the same one. I was able to for a little while, but then came a doctor, and each one would say, well, you're not on statins on this one, so your cholesterol is fine, but they want it like ridiculously low. And for me, a lot of the times I was put on a strict diet of heart healthy diet, which the food was cardboard, which is designed for somebody who's like in their late 60s and their 70s that's sedentary, not somebody in their late 40s who is active and athletic. And that was the fight right there. And I said, no. And they said, well, you should be on statins. Well, the statins are designed for somebody in that diet, not somebody in that age group with already low cholesterol. And I had to fight them on that. If some patients will just go, well, okay, a doctor says I got to do this. I didn't know it until late October when I quit the statins, and that wasn't an easy decision, was that my aunt and my mom, and 2 aunts, were able to say, our family does not have a history of tolerating statins well. And we've always had problems with it. And every doctor says, well, you need to go on statins. I went, no. And they're like, they're rolling their eyes going, no. And I went, let me show you, let me tell you why. I speak their language a fair amount. And had to advocate for that. And one doctor says, well, you need to go on this time. I said, no. Okay, look away from what you're being, the paperwork should you do. Practice medicine and listen to this. And I can be pretty aggressive. We know that, pretty alpha, and advocate for that. And there's such a fine line. Svea did it beautiful with this. But there's a point where you're being belligerent and uninformed on yourself. And folks, you don't know more. I'll say this. You don't know more than the doctor about medicine. Between 11 years of residency, medical school, you do not know it. You do not understand the whole. What you do understand is you, and you operate, and you be cognizant that they don't read the work. They don't read the patient report. They just look and go, glance and go, What you need to protect yourself from you and the doctors, I'm not going to say lazy, glancing over, not being thorough, not entirely doing their job.
Well,
And
another thing that happened for me is that, I said in the video that, what my doctor said, that I was diabetic. So I had actually talked to several doctors in my program, and I talked to several doctors over the course of maybe 6 months, 8 months. And I told them, I'm like, I don't think I'm diabetic. And they're like, no, you're diabetic. I'm like, I really don't think I'm diabetic. And they're like, no, you're diabetic. And so I finally had talked to this new doctor that I had, and he's like, your A1C is totally normal. I said, exactly. And I told him, I said, I even did tests on myself where I would eat more carbs than normal, and my blood sugar was totally normal. Totally normal reaction. So you eat and then it goes up and then it goes down. That's just your normal, what your body does. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to talk to the endocrinologist because I don't think this should be on your chart. I said, I agree. I don't think it should be on my chart. And he messaged me back. He's like, we took it off your chart. I said, thank you. Because it really, I'm not falling into that category. I really am not. And it took a lot of fighting and speaking up and fighting and speaking up and fighting and speaking up to have the doctors really evaluate it and say, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, exactly. And so it is very important for you to fight that, because they will not just listen to you the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time you say it.
You do need, one of the things is that you have to become so educated on your own health and the stuff on there. It is possible to educate yourself enough on a disease or a medical condition to be as knowledgeable in depth as a specialist, the specialist who's got a PhD or a doctor, and to know about that. But as the body system as a whole, you're not going to know more. But it is very easily to become specialized in that. That's not uncommon. I had a doctor, I had a PA that came in, a very well-respected one, that looked over my paperwork, and I came in for a checkup, and this is several months ago, and says, well, I see the stroke recovery. Yeah, we need to do something about your diabetes. And I went, what diabetes? Well, you had the stroke, it's probably from diabetes. And I went, so have you looked at the chart? I went, I don't need, they just said, I looked at it, I don't need to know more. It's just, the age. And I went, and folks, diabetes is a major risk factor to stroke. And I went, so did you read that? So what's my A1C that makes you say I'm diabetic? She goes, I don't, it's just the risk factor. I went, okay. PA person. I went, you haven't read the damn chart. And he goes, I don't need to. I've been practicing, blah, blah. I went, okay, hold on. You need to read the chart. You're a danger. I ripped this person. I will say it. I ripped them a new asshole.
I'm glad you did. They needed
and the nurses afterward were going afterward. But I ripped this person. I reported them that they did this. And the problem is that it's a burnout fatigue. I'm not going to blame entirely, but there's a burnout fatigue. But you have to become educated yourself, as Svea was saying, on the subject on this one. And don't second guess. Remember, work with the doctor if they're working. If you come in, I found this, and I've talked to doctors about this. If you come in mature, reasonable, but knowledgeable on your own health, that you are not going lip service or going, you don't know nothing. You come in reasonable, cerebral, patient, and you are taking an active interest in your own health. The doctors, most time, will go, they will talk and listen to you. If you help yourself, they can help you. And that is such a major difference, because it's not your attitude. Don't get pissed. It's frustrating. It's scary with some things, but that is a major way to work with them, cling into that world. And I find that so true. We've talked about it with Dr. Cadle, when we've had on the show. We need to get him back on. And that's the fine line when we talk about patient advocacy, advocating for yourself. You can't get frustrated. You have to educate yourself as much as them.
Sometimes you also need to talk to a different doctor, because sometimes you're not getting through to them no matter what you do. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I talk to my actual assigned doctor several times about the same issue. And for months, she's just like, nope, that's just what it is. And when I had a new doctor, he actually listened to me. So it may be that also is the case too, because maybe the doctor that you're with is not the right doctor to listen.
I had one that I see. I'm not going to mention him on air at all, but I had one that I had to see with the 6-month appointment that was back in early June, and he came in and he didn't read the chart again. He just goes, "Well, I see you're okay. Your chart's right. You're just fine." I went, "Did you read the chart of why I'm in here for a checkup on something?" He goes, "What?" I went, "Ischemic stroke." At this point it was said it was 10 months ago, and he goes, "You did?" And I went, "Doctor, what does SLICE mean in medical terms, the abbreviation, and then DICE?" He goes, "I know what that is." I went, "Say it with me, because you didn't do it. You didn't read the chart." Yeah, like I said,
Did the doctor tell you what SLICE was?
he said it with me when I started to, because I looked at him and I went, "Say this with me, because it's called medical practice protect the patient. Apparently you need a reminder." We were cool after that, but he says I kind of needed that verbal spanking. He admitted it, because every time as I said that, I didn't cuss him out, and I said, "Dr. So-and-so." It's important on that one. Slice and dice, folks. Look it up what it means. But our lifestyle changes.
Well, I mean, I don't really have much to add to that. I mean,
No.
my lifestyle, I mean, because we kind of already talked about it. I mean, I just basically have changed. I mean, when I'm done with this program, I just am changed how I feel about food. I changed how I feel and how I eat. And when I want to eat, there's so many things I pay attention to now, which I never did before. And I would just eat whatever. So
it's ironic that 2 weeks before the show with the stroke we had the 4th of July episode, and I was reading a rack of ribs. That's not lost on me, but for me, the biggest thing is no fried foods, no smoked meats. Cheese. I haven't had a Pepsi since early July, over a year ago. And not like I was a big soda drinker anyways, but anything to minimize the risk, because once you have a stroke, you are over 20 times more susceptible to having a second stroke than a regular person. Actually, some people 50 times, depending on their inherited or continuing risk factors. Eating better is so much more, because I mean, I don't do hot dogs, I don't do hamburgers. I'll have a little cheat with nachos once in a while, but that's so rare on that one. That was the major lifestyle changes. I'm going to blast through the stroke prevention, Svea. That's cool.
Yeah, let's do that, because we really are over.
So, folks, we moved on from the recovery. I'm going to blast through very quickly. I would like you to make a promise with me. Promise me that you will follow up on this on your own time to do this. But we're going to go through this. We're hoping to have about 15 minutes, but we're already 7 minutes over. But we want to share this. This is kind of important. So what we have is, let me get it shared up here. There we go. Is by the number stroke risk factors. The only one I'm going to emphasize in there is stroke is a leading cause of long-term disability in the United States of America, and actually probably worldwide. This is taken from American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association. Visit those websites. Incredibly great information. But with that, quickly by the numbers, understanding stroke. 2 types, hemorrhagic and ischemic. Ischemic is a blood clot in the brain. Hemorrhagic is a brain bleed where the artery is what carries oxygenated blood. Vein is what carries deoxygenated blood back to the lungs and the heart and all that. Hemorrhagic stroke is the artery breaking through aneurysms, whatnot. So you got 2 types. Most strokes, 2/3 of them are going to be ischemic. Hemorrhagic is coming from like aneurysms. That's really bad, but it's not near as common as ischemic. Quickly right there, transient ischemic attack. I explained that. That was the foreshock to the stroke. You can see right there from the meaning, temporary blockage of blood flow to the brain, often called a mini stroke. There are medical conditions where a person is very susceptible to a transient ischemic attack, TIA, but it's considered a precursor to the main event, the big stroke. That's what happened to me. Symptoms. This is important. I'm not going to skip on this part too much, but the other parts we will. Symptoms for a stroke before and after continuing deficits: facial drooping, arm and leg weakness, Remember, it affects not both sides of the body, one side of the body. One part of the brain gets affected, the right brain controls the left part of the body, and vice versa. Vision loss, dizziness, confusion. You don't have to have all these symptoms. You can have 2 or 3. The only one I had was left-sided weakness. There was no speech slur. Incontinence is actually an ongoing problem with after stroke. Person can lose their poop. And tingling or numbness. Possible care for stroke victims. This is a person who has it. This is what they're facing. I've had to face some of that. I almost went to a nursing home after the hospital. Hospital wanted to send me a nursing home for a week, or excuse me, patient rehab. I said no, and the doctor reluctantly agreed. Speech therapy, I had to have that. Occupational therapy. I was incredibly fortunate where we go, but this is the therapies that a stroke victim will have to have: physical, cognitive therapy, behavioral. We could do a month worth of shows on this stuff. That is what you're up for if you have a stroke. Now we're going to go to the first aid. There's an acronym that is the most important information we're going to give you tonight. It's called Be Fast. Look for this in yourself. Look for this in a family member, especially elderly. Remember, stroke can happen. I knew a kid, 17 years old in high school, had a stroke from what's called a PFO, perforated hole in his heart, basically. Balance. Watch for sudden loss of balance. Eyes. Check for vision loss, because they can most of the times it'll affect their periphery of vision. Face. Look for facial uneven facial drop. I'm going to give you an example. Watch this. You see that? I can approximate it a bit. Not real effective right now.
It's like your face,
It'll be like this. Yeah, like
your
that.
face just kind of like, it's imagine your muscles in your face aren't working anymore, and they just kind of, because your face is held up by muscles, right? So
yeah, it's easily, it can be mistaken a stroke. For Bell's palsy, can be mistaken for a stroke, which is actually an infection of the nerve that makes the face drop. It mimics that part of a stroke. It is not a stroke, and but people can see that in Bell's palsy. They'll think Bell's palsy or stroke. There's actually other medical conditions that can create that. But we're not concentrating on this one. So face drop, arm is weak, leg is weak. I'm going to show you something right quick. This is taken from what's called the Cincinnati Stroke Scale. This happened to me. You'll have a person close their eyes, and folks, you should learn this as part of this. Remember, reading disability in the United States of America, and actually a lot of the world, is stroke. You close your eyes and you have the person hold their arm straight out, and the affected side will go like this, will go down, and they won't realize it because the brain is losing control of that part as those cells die from a lack of oxygen. So I've had to do this to people when I was a medic. You hold it out, you have them close their eyes, and you might push down a little bit. If their arm doesn't droop, you push down. They should be able to hold their arms like this. If they can't, one side will start to droop like that and lose. When I did it, when I had the stroke, it was going down, and they didn't have to press much. What the nurse did that, checking it. So those are the ways to check on that when you look at the Be Fast acronym. Whoopsie, look what I did. Whoopsie doodles. There we go. Arm drift, arm or leg, speech. Look at the arms, do that. Speech. Listen for slurred speech like this. I still occasionally do that. Svea actually called me yesterday because of the aphasia during a meeting yesterday, slurring. But look for the slurred speech like they're drunk. A person who appears inebriated with their speech may be having a stroke. Time. And I believe that says call 911 right away. You want to get the person ideally within the first hour on the onset of the stroke symptoms, but ideally first 2 to 3. That's when it can be reversed the most through treatment, be it if it's hemorrhagic, getting a craniotomy, or getting TPA that I mentioned earlier in the show. Remember this acronym: balance, eyes, whatnot. This is the most important information that we can help you prevent and help someone that is having this. That is so important on that one. So remember, be fast and call that 911 and look for those. And something also worth sharing, just very brief. We're going to cover this, folks. I won't give you a homework assignment. Look for these. Become familiar with the Cincinnati Pre-Hospital Stroke Scale. This is what's done by the professionals. It helps you. There's more information about facial droop, arm drift, speech. Learn this yourself. Other things to look up on this one, just very quickly. Risk factors: diabetes, smoking, high cholesterol, excessive alcohol consumption, and the biggest one, high blood pressure. Those are the risk factors. Ways to stop it: lower your blood pressure. Eating correctly. We've already talked about our diets, things that will raise your blood pressure. Diabetes. You may not realize that you have, we're going to do a show dedicated to diabetes. That's going to happen. You may not know that you have it, or that you may be hypoglycemic, which is pre-diabetes. You can still get it. High cholesterol puts you at risk. Smoking, the biggest one right there, and the most preventable.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 ways to slash it. Control your blood pressure, manage stress. That's a big thing. Self-care is huge. Exercise, control your weight, stop smoking, James. And with that, that's what we have. We wanted to blast through that. It was important information. The biggest part is folks, the biggest unknown factor: diabetes, high blood pressure. If you have an aversion to doctor, go to CVS, go to a pharmacy, take your damn blood pressure. We did a episode over that. Check it. Hypertension, which is high blood pressure, is the biggest factor. It's related to diabetes. They interrelate. Check your blood pressure. If it's up, take care of the damn thing, because that's the longest. And the thing is, the high blood pressure gets too high, veins gonna pop. You got blockage. You are a ticking time bomb. That's what we have for stroke prevention tonight and risk factors. We promised you a highlight from the serious show. We're going to give it to you, folks. Ready, Svea? We're going to knock this out. These are worth sharing. This is our highlight. So, big one. I didn't realize when it happened when I graduated the EMT class that one of my biggest moments that I thought was just amazing was this. Share screen. There we go. I didn't realize how damn proud I'd be of this. Certificate for completing the EMT class. That was the hardest damn things and confusing and just craziness of trying to earn it in my life. And I didn't realize I would be so damn proud of it. I was just looking at something I had to do, continue on for medical school that our viewers know I'm doing. And so that one is the highlight. That's a culmination in a milestone in my mind of recovery. And we're going to bring you to a highlight here. Should we just, let me bring you one.
Show the video.
The one with the funny story or the, or both? We're going to do the funny story.
Yes, see the funny story.
Yep. So this is a story from last August when I was still having a problem with balancing and the aphasia and still trying to understand its scope, and it was starting to emerge. This happened at a Stater Brothers last August. Here's the story. It sounds bad, but wait for the punchline.
This morning, I went to the grocery store, get a couple things I needed here at the house, and I walk up to the cashier, and damn aphasia decides to hit. So I'm like, I get up to the cashier, and I'm counting the money. I went, hold it, how much was that? That. And I'm saying that, and I'm taking my wallet out, and I'm like, damn aphasia. And she's just, it was $3.75, sir. And I'm going, okay, and a little aphasia hitting right now. I went, all right, thank you very much. And when I said that, there's this guy standing behind me in line, big guy, bunch of groceries, cart full of groceries, standing with his wife, and he just leans over and goes, pardon me, folks, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say this term, and some of you will find it offensive, but I'm going to cut it short and make it clean as I can. Leans over his wife and goes, F word retard. Says that, and I hear him, and I just look at the guy, and he's like, what? What are you going to do? And I just went, and I looked at the cashier and went, thank you very much. And the guy's just kind of shaking his head like I'm taking up all the time in the line for him. So I walk outside, and I'm like, what a jerk. I'm not going to do anything, let the guy bother me. So I walk out to the car and kind of stand there for a minute going, And then I see him walk out. And I see him walk my direction. And I went, I think I will. And I pick up my phone. I'm standing next to my truck like right this. And I pick up my phone and I'm going, yeah, what's the metabolic rate of the patient? Okay. And I'm throwing out kinds of just bunk, bull, stupid medical terms. Just techno babble, like a badly written Star Trek episode. And I'm going, Uh-huh. What's this? Have you tried the amlodipine? And I'm just saying off just random prescriptions and stuff, just random terms. And the guy's parked like this way behind my truck, just across the parking lot, just across the aisle. And he's looking at me. And he keeps on looking, and he's walking by me like this. Like, what? And then he gets to the car, and his wife makes him start putting away the groceries, putting them in the trunk. And he's still looking at me like, huh? And I'm just not looking at him, but I see my periphery, and I'm just continuing on. I went, all right, let's make an appointment for him at 10:30, contact the primary, and let's order a couple of x-rays. And I want to get a lab done on him. Said it perfectly great. And I get back in my truck, and I drive away. And I kind of look at him, and I give him a little wave, and he just continued as I'm driving out the parking lot, and I see him in the distance just going, following me as I drive out the parking lot. It was glorious.
I love that story.
So the punchline is that guy kind of kicked you in the butt to get yourself to a new goal in your life. Wouldn't you say, James? Maybe a little bit?
Until we were talking about it yesterday, I didn't make the connection until you pointed that out, as you do sometimes so well. It make me go, oh, yeah. He might have been a contributing factor because at the end of August, I decided I want to go back into medicine. As a lot of our viewers already know, I'm in pre-med right now, and I will be going probably about 3 years. I will be in a PA school.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be pausing elk rack traders for a while or letting other family take it over for a short period while I'm in PA school for about 2 years, and then come back and I'll be practicing, and I will be almost Dr. James, who can almost double park in a parking space like a doctor. And that's a new thing, and specializing in emergency care and primary care. No, Svea, I will not prescribe you
Anything with
Stop.
sulfate.
Yes, as much as you ask me to. No, I'll actually be able to write prescriptions and stuff like that. I'll actually be wearing a lab coat as part of part of my new profession, and I will be going, at last I am this much closer to my ultimate goal, to put a human brain in a Chuck Norris robot body. We said we'd be open, folks. That's the goal, my evil plan. And that, so fun to share that story, crappy experience, payback. With that, that's been tonight's show. Audience, you are amazing. Deepest hearts. Thank you for the support over the last year.
I am going to share just a couple comments that we have from Maya. She says, thank you for a very important and informative show tonight. And then she said, a different perspective is always good, especially if it's bad. Anyway, and then
most of the time.
And while you've been sitting here, I've been holding Princess Leia in my arms, and she's just sleeping this whole time.
Right. I don't have a slide for next week's show, but we have a cool guest next week.
Oh, yes. So you guys, if you don't follow us on Facebook or YouTube channel, like we tell you to every week, you would not know this tasty little tidbit that we have an awesome guest next week. Our guest next week is an artist, a illustrator, and came up with this amazing group and idea of doing a thing called Bead This in Your Style challenge. I don't know if you have ever heard of it. It is so cool. And this person has inspired many people and done a lot for people, especially during the pandemic, keeping this challenge going on. So it's definitely going to be an amazing show next week. Do not miss it. We are very excited. We're going to have Alexis on next week.
She's so cool.
Bead This in Your Style. And they said that this was the first time that they'd ever been asked to do a show in a long time. So we are super excited to have them on.
Absolutely. We met with her yesterday. This is going to be a fun show. We have to bring in a guest. It's been a while since we've had one, and going to be a good one, folks, next week. So we'll have more information about that. We'll be sharing her Instagram on there. It's a show that's essentially we talk about an artist where we're featuring so many other artists that she's not representing, but part of just the program she has. And it's so cool.
Yep.
We're going to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Big Hearts. This is one of our more open, heartfelt shows, folks. I know it was mostly a me episode. I don't like that, seriously. Svea, let's look at doing a show about diabetes in August. You cool with that?
I mean, we can.
Well, we're trying to spread these out a little bit.
Yeah, it's not
It
my
won't
favorite.
be like tonight because tonight I went real long-winded, but there was just so much I'm passionate about on this one.
Yeah.
I actually practice this to not be so long-winded. But folks, we're going to end us with a funny story. I want to play. It's a 40-second video. Then we're going to go to our closing credits. This is, and not everybody's seen it, me at the dollhouse at sunrise 2 months after it happened, and the emotion I had that, damn it, I did it. And we're going to play that to close it. We're going straight to closing credits. Just shows the love and a passion we are, folks. You mean the world to us. And we're glad that we can share a little bit of our lives and help you out and entertain each other on this show. So with that, bring it out, and we'll see you next week.
I made a promise when I was in ICU 2 months ago that I would do this Green River trip and watch sunrise on this day at the Dollhouse Formation in the Maze District of Canyonlands National Park. That's sunrise at the Dollhouse in the Maze District of Canyonlands National Park. I did it. Grandfather, let me have it. Just keep pushing.
Good night, folks. That was, I had the closing credits all lined up. We're supposed to go in and make that all nice. And
Yeah. What happened to them? Are they gone?
here it is. Here we go. That's time. There you go. Yeah. Get into it, girl. Smile. Smile. Get your fingers out and make yourself smile. Get your fingers out and smile. I'm with you.
Aw, ain't he cute?
Good night, folks.
Bye.
Feel the love.